Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. It is Tuesday morning, September 29th, 2020. And yesterday we got a really pleasant surprise yesterday in a massive bullish explosion, and the gap held, which is really interesting considering the bearish selling that we had over the prior 5, maybe 6 weeks. The bullish move didn't surprise us. The size of the bullish move and the fact that we stayed there, that was pretty interesting. If you are a regular subscriber to the channel, you know that last Friday we said that conditions finally lined up and we had minimum criteria for where we'd start to lean a little bit more aggressively into some of the longs that we've been staying away from because of the overall market selling lower. And Friday into Monday was a pretty profitable couple of days. And the fact that we held that bid yesterday and we're not really pulling back that much this morning, that kind of implies that we're going to have more follow through. The shorts got squeezed just a little bit. They're kind of like teetering on the edge right now, where a bad position can become a really bad position if you don't make a decision. And we actually saw that in a few trades where we broke support, kind of peaked back up and exploded in the opposite direction. And if you were short, you're kind of like, oh, not yet, not yet. And then yesterday's gap just completely blew you out of the water. Which, by the way, we also discussed that as well, where we said in bullish markets, the first breakdown typically fails, and that's exactly what we just saw happen. So hopefully you took advantage of that where you did not short sell, and you actually had some longs as well. We're going to talk about a couple of stocks that exploded yesterday and are at or near breakout levels. One stock, Space in particular, that is now up almost 30% in 2 days. We're also going to talk about Run, which is now up just a ridiculous amount in the last couple of months. It was up also 27% in 2 days, basically 2+ days. And what's left in that trade? Is it a good trade at this point? We're going to set up some opportunities there as well today. There are some swing trades to set up today. One thing I want to mention though is I'm doing a live training tomorrow night, September 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Click down below in the description. And make sure you register for the event. I'm going to teach the New York method. I'm going to teach what we cover here in a lot more detail. But only 500 people can actually attend the event. So you definitely want to make sure that your name is on the list so you get a reminder email. So we're going to head on over to the charts. We're going to start out with Space, actually. This is the stock that I was mentioning before. And this is a trade where a lot of people get into trouble where they start to chase price. And that's been one of my biggest mantras, for lack of a better way of putting it, in the boot camp, especially in the last month or so, where a stock like DocuSign rallied for a couple of days, and then a lot of people saying, I want to get long, I want to get long, I want to get long, but there was no order flow behind it. It was really nothing more than what we classify as a day trading conviction versus a trade where you might have order flow conviction, and you can see it kind of petered out for the next 4 days after that 2-day rally, which kind of validates the concept of don't chase price. So how does that take us back to Space, and what does that actually mean for a trade in Space? We could see recently, which meaning this year, as it gets up to this level, it seems to be stalling out pretty much at 21. Now it's trading 21.20 right now, so it's actually going to end up opening higher than yesterday. But do you bid for this stock at this point? Do you look for a new trade right now that has a high percentage probability of following through? And the answer is no, absolutely not. The first day a stock rallies off of a support level is when you wake up and you say, okay, let me check the volume. And the volume was pretty significant. The volume was just absolutely amazing. But we had the same price action here and it sold off over the next week and a half. We had the same price action here and it sold off over the next 2 weeks. So we really need to map out this trade of what is the risk and how much can you potentially make. Now, we know that 26 is the next level, and we're going to open up somewhere around 21, just over 21. We know 21 is the level where we can't get through and stay. So what I'm personally looking for right now, obviously yesterday's volume and the gap is amazing. I'm looking for this stock to literally pause right around this $21 level, hold there for at least 2 to 3 days. Then I'm looking for a new trade up into that 26 level and maybe even beyond. So I'm not looking to chase this price. It's the prudent trade right now. It's the high probability trade where if you're going to accept a certain amount of risk, you want to wait to make sure that the probability is going to stay. And the way that we call that on my trading floor, when I had my trading floor in New York City, we basically say, I like the volume, I like the spike, I want to see if they hold the bid. So we're looking to see if they hold the bid in space today. A couple of other stocks, Peloton just keeps flirting with this $100 level. I'm sticking to my guns. The higher time frame charts do still look like they're well bid, but the price action itself is just really sloppy here right now, which to me means it's probably going to just peek its head over 100 and then pull back down into the lower 80s. So if you're still long, there's no reason not to be in it anymore. I'm just talking about a little bit more advanced tape reading lesson where the tape is getting really sloppy, and this is typically a topping pattern. However, if you are long, I do think we're going to kiss that $20 level. Run is the trade that I've been talking about, where you can see 3 days ago it was 56. Yesterday it's printing 72, or in that area. It was actually a little bit higher this morning, which is really just a really big move for a stock of this price. If you really add the math up, that's 25% in a couple of days. Just a really incredibly good trade that matched all of the criteria that we're looking for. However, now that it's gone 25% in 2 days, had two parabolic moves, for me personally, a higher opening would actually be an area to sell within this swing trading time frame that I have. So you could day trade it long today, swing trade it after it pauses a little bit. But if you happen to be long in that 56 area, which I was not, I actually didn't think there was a trade there, today's higher opening would be a profit-taking day. DraftKings, a little bit different. DraftKings actually did pause. We had this push up, and we said wait, and we waited, and now we actually got 3 well-bid days, 2 bullish gaps, and we're opening higher again today. This is really one of those trades where it's at all-time highs and constantly ask, how do you manage a winning position at all-time highs? Well, first you need to look to the left and see where the profit normally will travel from a pause, and then you end up using a trailing stop. Once it gets up to that level, you move a trailing stop, and if it pulls back, it takes you out. Look, it's at all-time highs. I had somebody last night ask me, what do you think about this? Well, how do you not love a stock at all-time highs? That's about the best stock you could possibly be looking at, right? A couple of other stocks that are tradable right now as well. DRI, actually, we had this last week as the trade of the day, and yesterday it finally gave us some room and pushed through 100. It looks like it's going to stay there as well, so this trade is still valid. Target, which took about a month to finally get to this level, broke out finally after the earnings highs here, and now it's well bid, so we can start to look to initiate a new swing trade there as well. Workhorse is a little bit different story. If you've been in Workhorse with us, we said 30 was the profit target. We had a bunch of people ask, could I get involved in the swing trade at this point? Well, at that point, you'd be looking at a 1-to-1 risk reward, and that's not really going to be good for you. So today, on a higher opening, if it pushes higher, I'm actually going to be looking to exit this trade into 30 if we get that price target. Futures are very neutral right now. I didn't mention that at the beginning of the call. We're -5, I believe, when I first woke up and started looking at it. So we're kind of just bouncing around at 0 right now. So Workhorse, I'm looking to exit into that level. Toll Brothers actually initiated on this bull flag yesterday, which I don't talk about that much. We had a nice push, a pause, and a bull flag entry. Like that one a lot. Now, this one here got a little bit different. We got some resistance here, but we're opening at or near that resistance, if not just through it. So that's a good level to get involved there. Costco actually firing up a breakout. We have the alert set for 350 in Costco, and you can see it's actually going to fire right out of the gate. So we avoided this chop, which was basically 336 to 348. Closed strong, closed above it. But this is a good example here of keeps failing at this level. I want to see a trade above that level and stay there before I get involved, which means today, above yesterday's high at above 350 is the entry, and the stop loss is if it closes back in there. And last but not least, I want to focus on LULU and some of the bigger other, LULU's not a tech stock, but some of the other stocks. But LULU actually had a nice explosion after this false breakdown, and now we got 3 days of indecision. Did not trade as bullish as the entire market yesterday, but I do like the fact that we paused, not quite double inside candle here as a pause, and those pauses lead to a big expansion in volatility. But I am looking at this right now to further catch the shorts that shorted here, which we said don't do, and look for a further move up today in LULU, especially if it's well bid. I want to briefly touch on Apple and Tesla, which are the two big stocks that are obviously on everyone's minds. I don't see an edge in Apple right now at all, regardless of what time frame we're on. You could make a case that the weekly chart is well bid right now, but again, you'll hear me talking about this a lot. It's only one day. Friday was great. We had well bid Friday. We said this is great. We're going to look to be bidding the stock, and it went higher. We weren't expecting the gap to kind of suck the volatility out of the trade, but it's only one day. I want to see a little bit more. You can actually see from the picture that I drew a couple of weeks ago, it's right back in the middle of that box. I don't like to trade these stocks because in my mind, that's the right price. Tesla is very similar, where we're having bullish gaps, bearish gaps, indecision days. It's not the same stock it was prior to the split. For whatever reason, it doesn't make a difference. Price action doesn't lie. It's our job to pay attention to the price action. So right now, this, to me as well, doesn't have a big edge. Can we day trade the stock? Yeah, day trading it, if it's obvious, is different than I think it's great longer term, and I can get a little bit more aggressive with both day trading and maybe returning those into swing trade ideas. But right now, I don't see that in either one of those stocks. They're day trading stocks for me at this moment. Penn is another one that I want to talk about. It's actually up at or near sniffing all-time highs again, despite some of the bad news it had recently, and that's why you watch price action. So we're looking at this over 75 again as a better trade. You can see 76 is the level, but 75 is really the target that I'm looking for. So plenty of good ideas on the table, but I'm not going to say great market conditions by any stretch of the imagination. So in the community, our number one goal right now is preserving capital and being on top of great ideas. It's a really stock-specific market right now. The S&P 500 heat map just lit up green yesterday, but there's not a lot of order flow behind it. Right now, you're trading with the last couple of days being well bid, maybe trading with some of these weekly candlesticks, trading well bid, but that's it. August was such a bullish month and September was such a bearish month. The monthly candlesticks are kind of a mess right now. So if you find some opportunities like we just discussed, you want to be in the right stocks at the right time. You know, that sounds like a cliche, but that's what we do. We're stock pickers in this market. We're not in a market where everything is on the same page in the longer term. So it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds. Does the market hold the bid? We got a Brexit vote going on over in Europe. So let's see how the day unfolds. We got some good opportunity today. These stocks are lining up. So have those at the top of your watch list and focus there. That's where the bids are being supported right now. I like that Costco breakout over 350. Let's see if it holds that level. We could get a really nice day out of that as well today. Have a great day, everybody. I hope to see you in the webinar.